I want y'all to hear the bitch shit this nigga that tried to put me through, y'all. Would you rather your husband, fuck like nigga, what kind of shit are you putting over the air to your motherfucking listeners? That's coon shit. So be careful who's feeding your motherfucking soul, because you might swallow coon pie and you can't get the coon off of you, and it'll give you goddamn diarrhea. I don't fuck with nobody, but don't fuck with me. Now let's start the motherfucking show. I feel better.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I wanted to come on and just give my thoughts on the whole fiasco that's taking place between D.L Hughley and Monique. This is something that has been going viral. It has been talked about for several days now, and I wanted to come on and give my opinion on it because I silently been following it, but I do have thoughts that I'd like to articulate from my formed opinion of everything that's going on. So I felt like I'd make a video and come on and share them. For those of you who are not familiar with what's going on between D.L Hughley and Monique, I'm going to go ahead and do a brief summary of what happened. I believe it was somehow between the 28th or 29th of the actual comedy show that took place and up until now. So I'll go ahead and do a little quick review of that. Those of you who are familiar with what's going on, you still want to stick around for this video because I have updating information that I want to add by the end of this video, and it has to do with DL's daughter in response to Monique. Okay, so for those of you who's just joining in, basically Monique and DL had a comedy show that they did. I believe it was on the 28th. I don't know. I'm not familiar with exactly the state that it was in. I believe it was either in DC or it was somewhere. It probably was in Baltimore somewhere, maybe DC. I think it was in Monique's hometown, I believe. I could be wrong. But anyway, Monique was told apparently that she was supposed to be the headliner of the show. And ironically, DL was told the same thing, that he was supposed to be the headliner of the show. So the promoter, whoever it was that they was dealing with separately, told them both that they was going to be headlining the show. And when DL found out that Monique was supposed to be a headliner, he refused to go on because he was supposed to be headlining the show. And when Monique caught wind of it, she went into this tirade and began to pursued to go on stage and just rip into DL. She called him all kinds of names. She talked about him. She brought up his family, his wife, and you can check it out. See it for yourself.
That a bitch is the headliner. The headliner. Let me say it again. The headliner. That's what the motherfucking contract says. Monique is to be the last motherfucking person on the goddamn stage. She is the headliner. That's what I signed the fuck up for. I'm 30 plus years in this motherfucking business, and I don't open for no goddamn body. The contract said the headliner. The contract said the headliner. The contract said the headliner. But a nigga named D.L Hughley turned into a bitch and said, I won't perform if she does that. I won't go out if she does that. Nigga, you open for the kings of comedy. I close for the queens of comedy, nigga. And you think that I don't have a dick, that ain't my position, nigga. At what time did black men start attacking black women? What kind of real nigga is that? That's a bitch nigga. That's a bitch nigga. What kind of real nigga would ever attack a goddamn black woman? A bitch nigga. I feel sorry for D.L Hughley's family. I feel sorry for his motherfucking wife, because how do you suck the dick of a coward?
So after that rant of her going crazy on stage, DL had to come right behind. Next day, he went on to his radio station, and this is what he had to say.
Monique got on stage. Monique actually felt like she had merit. She would have done one of three things. Either she would have took it up with the promoter, and she did, and the promoter said, we're going on, and whether you're going or not, that's a different thing. You would have not done it, but she knew she had to get on stage, or she would have been in breach of contract, or she would have come to talk to me. She didn't ever, and I emphatically emphasize this, she never once talked to me. I haven't seen Monique in years. I didn't see her at the venue before, after, or during. I haven't spoken or seen Monique. So if you really thought that you had a legitimate contract dispute, you would have come to me and said, hey, I have this contract, you had this contract. Notice not one thing on that contract, not one person she has on that contract, not one thing happened. Do you know why? Because it wasn't legitimate. And she goes on stage, and she proceeds to eviscerate me. Not just me, but Steve Harvey, the sexual, my wife, my dog later on in subsequent conversation. Let me ask you something. What did any of that have to do with an alleged contract dispute? What did Steve Harvey have to do with your contract? What did I have to do with your contract? What did my dog have to do with your contract? What does my wife have to do with your contract? You wrote your contract, you and your daddy. You proceeded to say things that were so patently insulting that it was galling. It was galling. You assault my sexuality. You have the temerity to assault someone's sexuality, a man's sexuality, given who you lay next to. None of that had anything to do with alleged contract dispute. You could have taken that up with a lawyer. You would have gotten out. You could have not gone on stage, but you knew you didn't have a valid contract, and you do what you always have done. You tried to weaponize black femininity. You tried to turn that audience against me. You tried to burn everything down. And you know what you did? You sat back and you tried to watch your damage. You set the stage on fire and you watched what you've done. You know who does that? Arsonists do that. Arsonists set shit on fire and try to see the damage it drives. But I blame myself because I know now what I didn't before. Saying yes to you is an occupational hazard, one I will not repeat. I don't blame you. I wish you well. But when you do the things you do, when everything's about you, when you're vitriolic, when you have all these fights with all of these entities, it is you. Precious was not a movie. Precious was an autobiography. That is who you are, literally. You mad at the contract you and daddy wrote, your daddy? And I don't know why you call a man daddy and you pay for him. That's a son. Let's be clear. I'm not angry with you. I'm angry with me. I did what I knew not to be true. But I'm going to tell you something. When you burn and you destroy and you wreck, you are not a queen of comedy. You're a queen of ashes.
So after he went to his radio station and he said what he said, Mo'nique then gave him a reply on her social media. They went back and forth. He posted his results. She posted her results. They both were in the right when it came down to them being a headliner. But the thing about it is that instead of them having an issue with the promoter, the issue became between them. All of this comes down to the promoter. The promoter is the common denominator between all of this. Is the promoter, because you have receipts of his showing that he had a memo or agreement with the promoter that he's supposed to headline the tour. You even have him on the brochure. On the advertisement, his picture is bigger than Monique's. So it actually has it like it's starring D.L Hughley featuring Mo'nique. So Mo'nique came off like a feature. Now, why did her team catch that in the beginning? I don't know. And for her to have an issue with him was the part that was confusing for me, because you didn't do business with D.L Hughley. You did business with the promoter, which lets me know that something or some on your team isn't airtight. Because how do you go on stage and have an issue with this man? And I was just perplexed because I'm like, both of them are showing their receipts, but why is she going at him so hard for? She made it seem like, he was just back there throwing a whole tantrum. I won't go on. I won't perform if she goes on and stuff like that. And that's not what happened. They never. D.L said on his radio show that he hadn't seen Mo'nique in years. They didn't even come into close proximity when they was on the same tour or whatever. But Mo'nique proceeded to go online after getting backlash, because she got some pushback for bringing up his wife and kids, because a lot of people found that to be disrespectful of her. And she came on and she addressed it. And this is just a little quick clip of what she had to say in reference to her saying that he was DL and bringing up his wife and family.
I didn't think you would get tender in your feelings because you made the comment about the baby stage names, and you said with names like that, don't you think they would wind up in jail? Well, that's what you said. Well, I thought I was coming back being clever, making a joke, because back in the day when somebody was on the DL, you know what they were. I don't think you're a homosexual man, DL. I was making a joke, and I can't believe you got tender. Said, if you watch that video, I didn't say anything insulting in reference to that man's family, nor his beautiful wife. What I said is I feel sorry for your family. I feel sorry for your wife. Now, the other part that I said, y'all know what it was, and I'm going to leave it on the stage.
But to be specific, without being specific, you essentially said, I feel sorry for your wife having to perform a sexual act on a coward. How do you perform a sexual act on a coward? There is nothing that was said about your wife.
Nothing.
Your family.
Nothing.
It was directed specifically to you.
So after that, she tried to justify, as you can see, and clean it up a little bit, saying that she didn't know that he was a tender and blah, 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 and she not making reference to his sexuality. Ain't no other way to take that. You can't sit up there and call a man tender and not expect him to feel some type of way, let alone call out his, address his sexuality or allude to him being. For them to have an audience within a certain age bracket, I'd say with the exception of anybody that's 28 and under, if you are familiar with UPN Network and anything D.L. Hughley, you know that D.L. Hughley used to have a show called The Hughleys. And he played a character. And his character name was Daryl. And he used his actual name in there. And his name was in the credits. Daryl L. Hughley. D.L. Hughley. So for her to say that and then say, oh, well, I didn't know that. I was just making a joke out of it. Well, why would you make a joke out of someone's sexuality? She said that it was a joke. Okay. We live in 2022 now. I don't know where Monique is still stuck in 2010 or 1998, 3, 5. I don't know. But you really teeter a fine line now within today's society, especially with a tool like social media that people have access to just rip you to shreds. So that was something that she wanted to justify. So DL came back and he said, he said nothing. He said nothing. But then again, Monique proceeded the very next day. The DL is quiet at this point. This woman came on and brought up an old clip of this man talking about his daughter being assaulted or whatever, and how she told him and he did not believe her. And in the clip, he speaks about it. He speaks about how he didn't take accountability for it and how he felt bad and how it affected him and his family. But in the clip, he's taking accountability for it. But the way she was talking about it, the way she put it when she posted it to her following on social media, she made it seem like this man is just sick in the head. He's so flawed in his character. He won't even believe his own daughter when she tell him that she was assaulted, which was very disgusting. Because not only have you hit this man family once, but you hit them twice. You hit him twice. You talked about you hit his wife twice and you hit his family twice. You hit his wife twice because you brought her name up under negative, after speaking negatively of him. Her name was used negatively in that context. I don't care what she tried to say, how she tried to clean it up. And his daughter, and you hit her twice by bringing up her daughter. You don't know how that affected his wife to hear you bring up his daughter, let alone his daughter. So much into the fact that his daughter, his eldest daughter, had to come on and speak out. And this is what she had to say. I'm going to go ahead and post it, and I'm going to go ahead and let you read it for yourself. So as you're reading this, I'm going to go ahead and continue to give my opinion of what I think Monique is doing. Monique right now is changing the narrative. She spun the narrative. After those receipts came back with D.L. Hughley saying that this is the agreement that I had with the promoter, and she showed hers, and clearly the brochures, everybody putting two together with the flyers and stuff, and saying like, well, obviously the promoter is at fault. So to save face, she wanted to spin the narrative and twist and deflect and make it seem like, oh, well, this is all about his character. Oh, and not to mention, I almost forgot. I'm going to go back just a little bit. When she did that live with her husband, she admitted, came out of her mouth, that everything she does is intentional, right? She said that D.L. Hughley was going to get the business from her regardless. So this is no longer about a contractual disagreement. This is about her having a personal retaliation against this man. Because she said that when she went on his radio station some years ago, his team disrespected her by asking her a question about her husband and Lee Daniels and some type of random chick stripper or somebody. I don't know. It was ridiculously stupid. But go ahead and listen to what she had to say.
See, I did this radio show one time, right? Because I'm thinking, this is my boy. This nigga ain't never had no motherfucking problem, y'all. Right? This my motherfucking dude. So we won a radio show. And when we get to the end of the motherfucking program, listen to the program. This was the England program. When we get to the end of the program, they say, Monique, would you like to play a game? Well, bitch, I like to play games. So I said, sure, let's play a game. And it's a game called Would You Rather. Would you rather? I said, fuck it, let's go. And then the sister Jasmine says, would you rather your husband fuck Lee Daniels without a condom or Corinne Steffens with one? I don't fuck with nobody. And as an entertainer, families are off limits. As entertainers, we don't fuck with each other's families. Because for me, that is crossing the line. See, I want to give you all the history so you understand.
Through the years, I've listened to this man talk about all that I'm not, what I didn't deserve. I was mentally ill. I was bitter. Me and my husband did poor business. I was selfish. I was fanatic. I was psychotic. Now, don't take my word, please. You can Google it for yourself. YouTube it for yourself. D.L Hughley speaks on Monique. And through the years, my babies, I said nothing because I knew the day would come that I would see D.L Hughley. Now, for every interview he's done, I didn't get it from nobody else's mouth. I watched it for myself. And I watched this brother sit down with that white cat, Vlad, and tell this white man all that I wasn't as the white man told him.
So after listening to what she had to say, right, it came and concluded to me, like, this woman is literally changing the narrative. This ain't got nothing to do with that. This ain't got nothing to do with what the promoter did. The initial topic, the discussion has everything to do with the promoter that played you. The promoter lied to you and told you specifically that you were supposed to headline, you didn't. So where's all the smoke with the promoter? Surely you can't be behind the scenes dealing with them, with your lawyers, and having your lawyers deal with them. Because if you are, you need to be trying to tell the public that as well. Address it to the public, because you have done nothing but made your business public. So everything that's going on behind the scenes, if there is anything going on with the promoters, we the people need to know. Because you can't seem to keep your business and your personal. Everything with this woman is business and personal intertwined, all the way down to her team, which is a one-man show, her aka her husband, Sidney Hicks. He is the man that's managing her. He is the one that's booking her. He is the one that's doing all the business, the contractual agreements, everything behind the scenes. And you mean to tell me that you didn't catch on the flyer that DL picture was bigger than Monique's? Or maybe it wasn't that big of a deal. But then again, I question that because both him and her ego is so inflated. Something like that makes sense is re-victimize his daughter all over again. Lets me know, furthermore, that Monique herself is incredibly flawed. Monique herself is incredibly lacking when it comes down to integrity, emotional intelligence. Because how can you not know that something like that would affect somebody? Not only did you trigger her, but you trigger other people also who have been exposed, had their business exposed to like that didn't want it. So I don't see how something like this is doing service for the people that you claim that you love so much. Everything you do is intentional, without a doubt. But also everything you do it for yourself. You do it for your benefit. You did it when it came down to Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey, and Lee Daniels, when you said that they blackballed you and you weren't being paid fairly, or you weren't being paid for doing promotion. Now, don't get me wrong. Those three did have a hand in doing her wrong. I'm not going to take away from that. What Oprah did to Monique was not right. When she did the whole thing about her and her brother assaulting her and stuff like that, bringing him on her show, I don't feel like that was right if Monique told her that she didn't want him on the show, which Monique said she addressed that too. But that's furthermore proves my point of what I'm saying is, how could you then, knowing how sensitive and how much that means to you, take somebody else's situation, in this case, DL's daughter, and then put it on full blast? Then she went in her video, she said on her live on Instagram that the information was already out there. So it was already out there. She didn't put out nothing that wasn't already out there. Excuse me. We live in a world or a time, an era now where everything that is on the internet resurfaces, and it takes on another set of legs, meaning things will resurface and go viral all over again. So because the attention is on you and DL and it's so hot right now, you putting it on your platform with millions that can see, oh, okay, what are people going to do? For the most part, it ain't no secret that almost everybody up in our community is nosy. And what is the first thing that black people do? They go and check out Instagrams. They go and check out videos. We go and see. We gonna look and see what's going on. So you can't use that sorry, sad of excuse talking about it was already out there on the internet. Don't nobody want to hear that. talking about you don't talk about nothing that wasn't already put out. You put out other information that we didn't know about. That whole situation that you was talking about when you said the DL allowed his team to disrespect you by asking those insulting questions about your husband or whatever, the would you rather game or whatever. You put that information out. We, the public, didn't have no recollection of that because we didn't know anything about it. You even said it yourself that it never aired. It never seen the light of day. So then you still holding on to these feelings because you got grudges that you can't let go. You want to be spiteful and hit the man as soon as the opportunity you got to do that. You did exactly that, and you did it sharing the same platform with him. Because it doesn't make any sense for somebody. If I don't like somebody or I don't care for somebody and I question somebody's character, I'm not going to want to be around them at all. Now, keep in mind, you're the same person that don't know how to separate personal from business. So I don't expect you to go in there and just run up and get that bag and keep it moving, whether he's there or not. You're going to be in your feelings. So instead of you going in there having that mentality, you're going to come in with the mentality, oh, I'm going to get my money, but I'm going to also get this in the process of getting it. So what you do? You go in on him the first moment, the first chance you get when y'all get on stage. Then you turn around and spite him again, bringing up his family, hidden below the belt. I mean, it was absolutely disgusting. And anybody who's defending this, I question your morals and your character as well. We all are entitled to our own opinion. Yes, we can agree and disagree about certain things, but at the end of the day, there's a right way and a wrong way to do things. Monique went on that stage and reacted out of sheer emotion. It was all impulse. She was in her feelings. She was feeling some type of way. And then again, another thing that furthermore proves that, you know, they shoot, her and her husband like to shoot from the hip a lot. Because she said in her live that the promoter told her that DL was no longer, he wasn't even in the building, that he was late. So what she said they figured he was trying to do was be late, so she was forced to go. But this is what I question with them, because they so strategic. They are very strategic, but you got to pay attention to how they move. They saying that the promoter told them that DL was no longer in the building, as saying basically like either he's late or he's not gonna go on, he gonna leave or whatever. So Monique is forced to go. But how do you know that they weren't lying to you? How do you know the promoter wasn't lying to you, telling you that so you can go ahead and go? Because DL already saw that, hey, she not closing, I'm closing. I'm not going before her. She gonna have to go before me. How do you know that he didn't get them their ultimatum and for them to keep the peace and not say, oh, well, you know, we got ourselves in some deep doo-doo. Let us go lie to Monique again and tell them that DL's no longer in the building. Because keep in mind, he said he didn't even see Monique. So they had not even seen each other. So if they can lie about y'all, about contractual agreement, what makes you think he won't lie to you again, the promoter? And then she said in her live that she had already mentioned that the promoter was raggedy. Okay, after you see that's what I'm talking about. And that goes back to her saying that she does everything intentional. And she said because of him disrespecting her over the years and talking about her and saying things about her being blackballed and having so much to say, he was gonna get the business anyway. That was just the icing on the cake. No, it wasn't. You used that as an excuse. And by you saying that by the first thing coming out of your mouth was the promoter is raggedy, that proves that you are using that as an excuse. Now, nobody is saying that Monique is a liar. I'm not saying that because I believe all the past stuff she said. She has brought in proof. She has had laid out her receipts. She has obviously had recordings and stuff like that. I'm not saying that. She's never proven herself to be a liar. However, she has proven herself, to me, in my opinion, to be very calculated and manipulative. And I'm just going to leave it. Because you tried to hit DL, but you end up hitting the mama and his daughter. And to me, it's like, it's disgusting. What do they have to do with what y'all, the dispute between the contracts? Absolutely nothing. And she said that, absolutely nothing. And I just found it to be disgusting. She's talking about the actions of his character. This is the type of person we do. So we on the smear campaign. So basically, you trying to do defamation. This sounds like defamation. You trying to tear this man down. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like complete defamation. But if you pay attention to, like I said earlier, these two are changing the narrative. They're not sticking to the topic at hand. And because they got so much backlash in her comments, because she said in her live that she got a lot of backlash in comments about how the people felt or whatever. And because she felt some type of way, which is called conviction, because when you do wrong, you got to have some type of conscience, right? Because she felt some type of way, she felt she had to come on and address it and pacify and make excuses for what she did. But the thing about it is, everybody ain't walking around here with their eyes wide shut. Some of us got our eyes wide open and our ears too. Ears are up. We listening. And that's what she said. She's like, again, when we don't pay attention to what's being said, you need to listen to what I'm listening to what you're saying. And I'm also watching what you're doing. And it's not adding up. It's not measuring up to what's right. It's not measuring up to what's fair. Talking about somebody got to speak out for our community. Somebody got to step out. Somebody got to do this. Just basically acting like we as a people are lost. Everybody in the black community is not the same. Everybody in the black community don't think the same. Yes, we are all different individuals from different walks of life. And yes, we all have room to grow. But everybody got different backgrounds. Some are educated in specific areas. Others are in, other stuff. But you can't group everybody together. And she talks and she condescends down to her audience. That's what I noticed. And like someone had said, I was watching someone's live, and a person had called in and they pointed out something so crazy to me that I didn't realize at first, but it made sense after I listened to the call. The caller said if you pay attention to Monique, her stage presence is different than her interviews. Now some will say, well, that's entertainment. That's her just putting on her show. She's an entertainer. Yeah, while that's true, but if you pay attention, because she always say pay attention and listen to what's being said, she's saying the same thing on stage that she says in her interview. But the tone is different. See, when she's talking to a wide audience, her tone is fixed. But when she's talking to a club and a comedy and stuff and doing her shows or whatever, or she rah, 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 oh, you know what I'm saying? She's in battlefield mode. To me, that raising questions for concern for me. Because I question your sincerity and your motives behind everything you do. But that's just what I think, guys. Everything that I think is not fact. I just give my opinion. You can like it, you can hate it, you can disagree with it, but you got to respect it. Because guess what? Just like I got an opinion, you got one. And I want you to leave it down below in the comments. Make sure if this is your first time coming across this video, you like, share, and subscribe. I will be coming back with consistent content for you. If you would like to be back, if you don't want to subscribe, that's fine with me also. And you just want to come back and peek in every now and then, I still have content for you to come and peek at. Also, I will be following this because obviously this story ain't going nowhere. DL did say that he will be addressing this on his show later on. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I will talk to you later.
Saturday night, D.L. Hughley was going to get his ass handed to him because through the years, I've heard this man have a lot to say about me. And what the type of person I am, if y'all don't know by now, I wasn't going on nobody's radio show talking about how I felt towards D.L. Hughley. I wasn't going on nowhere. I was going to make sure the night that I spoke about D.L. Hughley, I wanted D.L. Hughley to be there. So that night, D.L., what you got back was the medicine that you've dished out to our community for so long.
So when I leave this motherfucker, the headliner has left. I don't fuck with nobody. I don't fuck with no motherfucking body. But when you cross the line with me, nigga, you have crossed the motherfucking line. And that bitch, nigga, has crossed the motherfucking line. See, we got a history, nigga. We got a history. That nigga went on a tour talking about all Monique wasn't. You can Google it right now. D.L Hughley on Monique, all I wasn't, what I wasn't worth, all of this bullshit, and nigga, you put your feet under my motherfucking table. So you came to my home, nigga, and you put your feet under my motherfucking table. I don't get down like that, goddammit. You got a bitch wrong. You talk about Young Thug, and because of their names, nigga, your name is D.L. What the fuck does it stand for? Hey, how far you bending over, nigga, on the D.L.? You fuck with the wrong one? That's my family, nigga. I'm